you explained to put the tongue up, and that one I don't really understand because for my case, if I put my tongue up, the larynx goes up, and then because it blocks the space in my neck. So would you explain a more detailed way, please?
Yes. So the tongue up in the back of your mouth, just a little bit up in the back, relaxed, no groove, with the tip of the tongue against your bottom teeth. So that's, I think, the ideal singing position, because if the tongue goes down, you have the tendency to pull the tongue back. And you can see how big the tongue is. It's huge. And so it's very easy for the tongue to get in the way. And also creates, if the tongue is tight and pulling back and down and back, you get a sound that's less beautiful than you could have if it's free and forward and slightly up. So just try the exercise of putting some sort of lozenge or Ricola on the tip of your tongue and sing just an ah vowel. So it sounds funny, but I have to warm up like that, because otherwise my tongue has a tendency to tighten up and go back. So does that make sense? Just experiment with it and see what you think. And you can often hear, and there's some people who have wonderful careers with tongue tension, and it'll be a bit of a dark sound. You know what I'm talking about? So I prefer something that's freer and more open in that respect. Yes, I mean, sure, yeah, absolutely. There are things. I mean, I was very lucky. I had wonderful teachers who were in the bel canto tradition. So so I really was fortunate. But I studied with a lot of other people as well, because I was curious and I wanted to know what everybody thought, who was always looking for a different point of view, which was good, because when we're performing, things often will go off track. And if you have a lot of experience trying to learn how to sing, you can very often make the corrections. I had colleagues who just disappeared because they were stars, and one day and the next day something went wrong and they didn't know how to fix it.
I would ask how you go in the first changing note, the passaggio, the re, mi, fa diez on the first octave, because sometimes we use the chest voice, sometimes we mix with middle voice and chest voice. How you manage this?
Do you mean the low passaggio?
The low.
The low passaggio.
D, E, F.
Yeah, so you're talking about voix mix and when to mix. And
when to mix, it depends from the line which is going down or up. You use this chest voice, and what you think about, or just you try to keep high? How to mix there? Because I have really a problem with this. Because when I go lower, it's okay. But this re, mi, fa diez, I hate.
Well, it's true. No, you're right. You have to make choices, really. And I actually will write in the score, head voice. I'll tell myself it depends on the context. Yeah. So sometimes you want to maintain a brighter sound and keep it even. Sometimes you want it to be very dramatic. Mm-hmm. But ideally, you don't hear the transition, right? Ideally, it's smooth. Yeah. So sometimes you want it just to be very smooth like that. Sometimes it's much more dramatic, but it's practicing going up and down, much harder, much harder to go ascend through the passaggio. Yes. I think my jazz singing helped me because I sang with a trio in a club for 2.5 years, and I can tell you my voice teacher was not happy about that. She was not amused, but she ignored it, and I think I learned some of those skills, because my teacher also didn't want me ever to sing in voix mix. She wanted it to stay in head voice all the time, which was, for a young singer, very healthy. So you don't want to, frankly, it's better to wait and make sure the rest of your voice is even, because sometimes if you sing too heavy in the bottom, your top suffers. You don't have a good, and the upper transition, that passaggio I think is really hard. Are you a mezzo or a soprano?
A soprano.
Soprano. But most sopranos have trouble with the higher passaggio, E, F, G, up in the top, right? And that was hard for me too. Learning how to sing a little bit more narrow in that part of the voice, kind of inhaling through those pitches, and then bloom on top, like an hourglass. So, and same for the bottom. So, well, the bottom I think more evenly, but the top passaggio I think is open up the middle, narrowing, open up the top. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.